I'm Brianna Robles, and this is Adams State Football with Coach Levi Gallas, a podcast presented by RG Bank. We are live from the San Luis Brewing Company in downtown Alamosa. Coach, the Grizzlies are on the road for the final game of the season against South Dakota Mine. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been kind of a long season, but at the same time very short, and the feeling like we just started doing this radio show, and now here we are, we're in our last game, and it's going to be a long road trip, something that we started the season just like, and looking to try to mimic a lot of what we did in terms of our travel, but it's going to be going into our last game and a great opportunity, and really are excited about, getting up early tomorrow morning and hitting the road.
So, Coach, I don't really know too much about football, so you're going to have to help me out today. And
that's okay.
Just share a little bit down the road and give me more play-by-play.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you this. Why did Adams State lose 59-0 against Black Hill State, and how do you build on that? Like, how do you continue to build the momentum so far at the end of the season? Yeah, no, I think that's a great question.
For those that were able to come watch the game, obviously they saw, what happened, and, it was a lot of mistakes. Let's be honest with it. We had mistakes. We had guys in the right position. Guys had the ability to go out and make plays, but we weren't executing. As simple as that. We're able to get the ball to certain people and weren't able to hold on to it. Or we have guys in the backfield and we're not able to wrap up the tackles. And so when you have multiple things like that, then that's typically the end result. We started it out fast, got them a quick 3 and out, put our offense in good position, weren't quite able to execute, and then, one thing led to another. And I think that embodies, us just not going out and executing all season long. But it's unique because there's glimpses even in those moments of, oh, there it is. Well, we can do this. We can play at this level. We can, go out and make plays. And I think getting our guys to realize that throughout the week and continuing to, establish that mindset of, hey, we can still compete. I think that's the big understanding right now.
And Gavin, I've only had experience with teams when it comes to cross country, and when it comes to cross country, we're really big on family, and that's kind of what helped us move forward into championship season. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit more about your team dynamic and how you continue to build on that, especially so late in the season.
It's all about the brotherhood, honestly. You walk out on that field with 11 guys, and you know that you have to trust your teammates, and they have to put their trust in you just to do your job, that they're going to do their job. And it's really, it accumulates from what happens off the field as well. In college it can be very different from high school or little league. Teams can become more cliquey, but you're going to build a lot of bonds with a lot of guys on the team. And unfortunately for me, only being here for 1 year, I'm not going to be able to experience that 4 years with this team. Being able to build with some of the guys on the team that I've already established connection with. But doing so late in the season, like I said, it really relies on that brotherhood, and we have to understand that we have each other's backs, and that the previous games, they don't matter. The record doesn't matter because it's a new opportunity this week, and we're just looking to put that trust in each other and go finish out the season.
And Coach, to build on that, he said it's a new opportunity this week. How do you keep them grounded? How do you keep them to focus on, what's to come and let go of the past? Because from my experience, it's really hard for me to let go whenever I had bad races and stuff. So moving forward, how do you just focus on what's coming next and just the game itself?
Well, you're a college athlete. You understand the game of football. It is tough. It's not easy to not dwell on the past. But I think what happened even in these last couple days that we've really noticed from this team is they've embarked the mindset of finishing, and even tagged the quote, we finish. And I think that's what we've seen a great result of even in these last couple practices is, it's all about, again, we're building something great here. And I think our team knows that. The individuals on this team that are still with us understand that, and they truly are willing to go out and continue to work. And that's what makes a great competitor. It's not somebody that overly relies on what accomplishments they've had or they've done already. It's about moving forward and continuing to progress. And that's what this week's all about, is going out and focusing again on the finer details of the game, going out and finishing on this season for these seniors, for all those guys that are still on this team. I think that's a big piece in taking us to that next level, is we will finish. No matter what, we will finish.
Okay, Coach, so before we move on forward to your next game, can you talk a little bit about the player of the weeks?
Yeah, no, absolutely. First, Gavin Herberger has done a great job all season long for us as a senior at the quarterback position. Started the season as our starter, got a little banged up, was able to come back. That's tough to do in the college game, and regaining their focus and getting out there and going back to executing. Has done a great job with that. But our offensive player of the week this week was Bryson McClunga. He has done a phenomenal job. He's a guy that came here as a true freshman, has just worked his way up the depth chart, continues to come out and work every single day. Colorado kid. I continue to see progression with him every week. Defensively, Nicholas Mendez, this is a guy that also suffered a little injury during fall camp and was able to play week one, but then was kind of out suffering through that injury. But he came back later in the middle part of the season and just has really brought a huge light to our defense. This weekend he had close to 10 tackles. Two and a half of them were for tackles for loss. Continues to be a tough individual for our defense. It's made it tough for offenses, really being a havoc in the backfield. And then special teams wise, Anthony Henry, he's a guy that's been flying around all season long. We've played him at some safety, we're playing him at some corner now. He's a guy that, even though he's shined on the defensive side of the ball, he's come into special teams and just wrecked house. He plays with an intense sense of aggression, and that's what we love about him, and we continue to build things around him.
Okay, Coach, well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break for this message from RGV Bank. RGV Bank is excited to be presenting a sponsor of the Adams State Coach Show and podcast. Like Grizzly Football, RGV Bank is a team. Whether it's personal banking, business needs, or support for your farm or ranch, the RGV Bank team is here to help. Stop by one of our locations in Alamosa, Pagosa Springs, or Mona Vista and let the RGV Bank team help you. Your future begins today. RGV Bank. So, Coach, how about South Dakota Mines this Saturday? What's their scouting report?
Yeah, so they're a team that is very dynamic offensively. They like to stay in one certain personnel while also kind of changing it up, meaning, they'll have one tight end out there or maybe two tight ends out there. They like to try to change the formation. They'll motion people from right to left and really try to get your eyes focused somewhere else. They've done it a lot through the air in pass concepts. Their quarterback, he's a guy that's been there for a couple years. You can see that he's really been instilled in the program and knowing what they need to do offensively. Defensively, I think they do a really good job up front. The defensive line is really aggressive. They get after you. They'll change up their coverages on us and making Gavin really have to, be aligned with his keys and his reads and making sure that he is able to go out and operate the way that we want. But they're a gritty team. They started out the season with a couple big wins. But as of late, they've just been in some dogfights. And so that's what I can really appreciate about the RMAC right now is they are such a higher level than even when I was playing in it or even, in the previous years of what it used to be. You've got three teams right now that are fighting to try to get into the playoffs. And the RMAC, now that's become more common. It used to be they were hoping to get one in. Now we've got three teams trying to fight to get in the NCAA playoffs. And so that just kind of gives you a grasp of what kind of competition level is happening right now.
So I know, Coach O, it's been like kind of like on a, the downside. It's been a winless season, but how do you move forward for that, and how do you just progress from like, having high expectations at the start of the season and, not exceeding those expectations?
No, I think the high expectations was coming from the excitement of, wanting this program to get resurrected. And that's what we're still doing, is we're still resurrecting this program back to what it used to be. And, on the field, it might not have gone the way we want each week in and week out. But I think a lot of that has to do with us reestablishing this foundation and making sure that we're building a building that can withstand a major storm. I think you've got to dig deep sometimes and really getting things put in the right place. And, guys like Gavin and guys like our freshman class and some of our transfers that we brought in, they understand that, and they keep coming to work every single day. But you look at some of these other programs that are competing at a high level, they're graduating 15 to 20 seniors. And so when we get to that level, I think that's where the expectations start really rising of seeing, major results happening on the field. But there are good results happening. And for an Adams State alum, for an Adams State fan, I promise you this: you can still hold your head high that the Adams State Grizzlies are going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to finish this season on a good note and continue to push forward.
So Gavin, we've seen all of you guys pretty much progress throughout the season. Like, we've seen you put into work. I saw you guys even in the pool. I didn't even know you guys did some work in the pool.
We stay in the shallow end, and we try not to get in the deep end.
Moving forward, towards do you have any expectations on this next game, and what are you doing to prepare yourself mentally for that?
Like Coach said, we're just looking to finish. We have to put all of our heart, everything we have, empty the tank into this game. And on my drive over here, I was really thinking about that. It really doesn't matter who's on the other side of the ball. It's about us right now. And we have to understand that and really play into our roles, do our jobs, and make sure that we're taking care of each other on the field. And, if you've ever watched the movie Friday Night Lights, it's not about the score at the end of the game on the scoreboard. It's if you can play with passion and love in your heart. And I can say that I would love to do that for these guys, and I hope that they can reflect that onto me as well, so we can do what we said the standard we set at the beginning of the week, in the idea that we're going to finish.
So a lot of events happen around campus, and the Adams State cross-country team qualified for nationals.
Both of them.
Both
Huge.
of the teams.
Both of them.
I was there. I was able to watch the race.
Nice.
They did a remarkable job. So I just want to wish good luck to them. And I don't know any other upcoming sports.
Well, yeah, I think they just came out too. They both qualified. Mm-hmm. They're both in the national meet, which is I think November 22nd, somewhere out east. Really excited. They're always running around us during practice, and so it's fun to watch. I always go over there and wish them well, and excited for them. But soccer, had a great end of their season. I know we made an announcement about their big game coming up. They were able to win their first playoff game at home. That was huge for their program, and then carried over in the weekend. And they were, they stubbed their toe in the quarters, but that's okay because they continue to build. And those are the type of mindsets that us as football team, we look at. And what are these other programs that are successful here at Adams, and how can we mimic some of those things? Now, I don't think we'll do any good on the track. None of our guys can run that kind of distance. But honestly, it's that having that faith, building that family, doing those type of things that you kind of already spoke of. Volleyball right now is in a dogfight, and we're really kind of, it's on them. If they win, they're in. If something else happens outside of them, then they could still be in. And so I know they've got a big weekend coming up. Basketball's now starting to play. They've been buzzing around Plackey Hall and whatnot. I know both the girls have 2 big home games this weekend versus very top regional opponents in Angelo State and in eastern New Mexico coming to town. So I know, Mario and his crew is getting really excited. But this is a great time of year. I enjoy the beginning of fall when we're getting things are getting kicked off, the campus is buzzing and whatnot. But right now, when you've got fall sports and winter sports going off, it's a great time. Wrestling, women's wrestling did a great job. Swimming, I know they're doing their thing in the pool as well as us. And then women and men's wrestling. They're kicking off well, and they've got, I think, 3 or 4 guys ranked already. So it's going to be fun.
Good season.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So, Coach, you want to take a moment to talk about the Grizzly Club?
Yeah, the big thing too for us as football players, but also for any of our athletic teams, is there's no better way to support Adams State Athletic than joining the Grizzly Club. Call Caitlin Smith, RAD, at 719-587-7401, or you can email her at ksmith@adams.edu. We sure would appreciate all your support in joining the Grizzly Club. Every dollar goes to our student athletes.
Coach Gavin, good luck this weekend, and this will be the wrap-up of our episode 13, and shout out to Owen Woods for production.
Yeah, thank you, Owen.
Thank you, Owen.